Hey guys, welcome to the Trademark Like a Boss Show. I'm Radiance Harris, also known as the Trademark Goddess. I help emerging businesses protect, monetize, and grow profitable brands with trademarks. And today we have the amazing Crystal Richards, and we'll be talking about trademarking your service-based business. If you're watching live, be sure to drop in the comments. Let us know that you are watching. Let us know where you're from. If you happen to watch the replay, be sure to drop the hashtag replay so that we know that you tuned in later. So welcome to the show, Crystal.
Thank you, Radiance. Excited to be here.
I am super excited to have you here. So please introduce yourself and let our viewers know who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
So thank you again for having me. I'm Crystal Richards. I hail from the Washington, D.C. metro area, and I train people to be better project managers. I provide project management training for certification training of the PMP and PMI ACP. And often when I find people saying, "Is that training was awesome. What else can you give me? Can we do a deep dive?" So I also provide deep dive training around developing the things that we learned about in the courses, the certification courses. And I also work with corporate clients to provide project management training to their staff.
I love it. So you guys know, Crystal is one of my clients. I helped her through the trademark process. It was a really great time. I really enjoy working with Crystal. And I want to know what made you start the MindsparQ community that you have?
Funny story. I think everybody says that, right? So during the COVID, when everything was kind of like at home and virtual, I saw, like everybody else, wanting to do some type of pivot point in my business. And I wanted to create kind of this online community, and I wanted to kind of differentiate my name. So my formal name is Mosaic Resource Group. And I'm now officially doing business as MindsparQ. And so I wanted to kind of do an offshoot to Mosaic. And I saw in the naming convention that I put together, it was already owned by somebody else. Like, not only did they have the URL that I was looking for, I saw with the name, they had a big old registered trademark. And I'm like, I wonder if I should talk to an attorney, because I think it's starting to get a little tricky here. And the interesting thing, when I first started my business with the Mosaic name, I kid you not, within a month or two of being in business, I was attending business vendor outreach sessions, and people would say to me, "Are you that business? I just started. Are you that business located in a nearby location here in the DC area?" And I should have picked up on it, because all that I found was there's an available URL.
Right.
Does not eliminate the fact that someone else might own that name.
Right.
And lo and behold, there are about 5 different businesses right here in the DC area that has some variation of Mosaic, which then really just led me to having that serious conversation with you. I'm like, I need to differentiate myself, and I need a new name. So
yeah,
that's
kudos to you for even reconsidering the original name that you had. I find that a lot of business owners are so attached to the original name, and it's like, look, there's like 10 other businesses with the same name. Like, why would you want to be out there in the marketplace where people can't easily find you? You're making it really hard, to differentiate yourself. So I'd say kudos to you for like making the smart and mature business decision to go with a name that allows you to stand out, but also that I mean, can you attest to the fact that you love this name a lot more than the first one?
Absolutely, because it's mine, all mine. It is mine. Like, no one else is like saying this, using this name for the same service in the same area.
Right.
So absolutely, it is mine.
Yeah. And that's what I come across a lot of times, with clients who may have to rebrand or do something different. They think that the next name they won't be as much in love with, but you're a testament to that is completely false. You are like in love with the name, you own the name, you're excited about it. People recognize the name now in your industry. So that's all amazing, all very amazing. Okay, so tell me this. I don't know if you get like this question about like what the difference is between a project manager and a program manager. I know that's a question that I have because I hear those terms interchangeable? And I'm not exactly sure if they're the same thing or different.
That's a really great question. Being in the DC area, they are really used interchangeably.
Mm.
Book wise, so here's going to nerd out as the instructor that I am, professor, is that a project manager is someone who is managing just one initiative. So we have like one specific goal and with all the other objectives within it, but it's just this one initiative. So if it's a brand new training project or a brand new event, that's what you're managing. But if you're managing like a series of events or a series of training projects and they're all related to each other, that's what makes you a program manager. So at the project manager is more tactical, program manager is more strategic. So they're trying to make sure that all of these similar projects, especially in a program standpoint, you're probably using the same resources. There's a lot of harmonizing that we're trying to do at the program level to make sure that we're not overtaxing the same resource that's being used for all those same projects, that there are a lot of interdependencies, that we really are coordinating everything in a strategic fashion. I've seen that term program used a lot in nonprofits just because of we don't call them in like healthcare or nonprofits. We don't call them projects. We call them programs. So it just makes sense to say you're the program manager. So when I have people with that title come into my classes and they're like, is it wrong? I'm like, it's not wrong. It's just for the exam. You just need to understand a project is one singular initiative, whereas a program manager, you're managing multiple projects. But the key thing is that they're all related to each other so that you can manage all of them in a coordinated fashion. So that's the key distinction.
It's basically the same thing. It's just, okay.
Exactly. It's basically the same thing. Tomato, tomato. Right. But if you really want to get specific, then that's the book answer for it.
Okay. Yeah, that's like the same when people ask me, like, is a trademark the same as a service mark? Or what's the difference? Same. And, it's the same term. It's interchangeable. Just one designates use of a trademark in connection with services. And trademark is the use of trademark in connection with products, but it's the same. So
okay, that's good.
That's how I can like understand what you just even like it's completely unrelated to what I just said, but anywho.
It works for me.
So tell me, you said you've been in business coming on 8 years,
It'll
right?
be 8 years in January. Yeah.
That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what would you say is your biggest accomplishment as a business owner so far?
Honestly, the trademark. I mean, that just reinforced my commitment to myself, to my business. And, I remember the statistic, and you'll have to quote it because I don't want to mess it up, but, the statistic about, businesses that have a trademark are more likely to stay in business longer. They're going to generate more revenue because you're now serious about all the intellectual property that you have, the IP and the intellectual property and everything just has much more, at least for me, much more meaning. Like, should I get this copyright? Should I get this? Should I really make sure that this stays with me? Because it just adds value to my business and the value that I'm placing on me from an investment standpoint and the value that I'm placing on all the IP that I'm creating. That's really been my biggest. And then it has honestly just catapulted after that. Just a lot more opportunities have really opened up. And I got this in the height of COVID when the USPTO, U.S. Patent Trademark Office, was slow, like all government agencies, just because of their struggles with, staff and illnesses and stuff. So, we stayed the course, and I'm so glad you were in my corner because that's what I got done. Yeah, this isn't my skill set. This is not my zone of genius. It's your zone of genius. So I appreciate you and your team for staying the course, helping me stay the course with this.
Yeah, my pleasure. It was an honor to serve you and to continue to serve you through the trademark process. And I love the point that you made, because a lot of business owners don't understand that their intellectual property is their biggest asset as a business owner, because that is how you make money. That is your secret sauce. And so just like in your personal, life, where you might have real estate that you've accumulated or other types of assets, like your intellectual property is major. So definitely, I love that point that you made because it really hits home about how important it is.
Mhm.
And you are right. Businesses who protect their intellectual property make, I think the statistic was like 3 times more than a business that doesn't. So you cha-ching!
Let's make that
Cha-ching! Okay, so then next, so like what have you find is how is your biggest business lesson to date? You know, been in business 8 years. What would you say is your biggest lesson to other fellow business owners who might be just starting out on their journey?
money. One thing I'll say is be careful about just flippantly saying it's a business expense. You will find that you're spending more than the money coming in. And yes, you can write it off, but then you're in the hole. I think we're all guilty of it, right? You go have a lunch meeting, a breakfast
Yeah,
meeting, and
definitely.
business expense.
Winery trips.
And be very careful about that. And,
Yeah,
everybody promises you a quick win and it just isn't. Like people see on the surface because that's what we put on social media. Like, here's the
yeah,
great thing. If you want to have a one-on-one conversation with me, I will tell you honestly, there are still things that I am trying to work through as a business owner, but I'm starting to see the light and it takes time. It is not immediate. I know that it may look like it's immediate from, what I post, but there's the iceberg that we always talk about. There's all this like, in fetal position late at night, like this didn't go through. This
totally,
is like, someone, took my IP and I'm like, now I got to find
totally.
it. So
Yeah,
there's, just recognize there is time that it takes to get to that point. There is no quick win. So with that, people will promise and then you're so quick to want to write that check. And I can't tell you not to. There are plenty of people who tell me, I'm going to do this. And I know it because I've been there, but I
yeah,
can't tell you because you have to learn the lesson for yourself. And I know people are like, why didn't you tell me? Because you would tell
yeah,
me she
right.
doesn't see my vision. I'm like, all right, you do
Right.
you, but
You don't believe in
I'm
me.
here for you.
Yeah,
But when I see, because I've been there. So I think just be careful about the promises of quick wins. Like,
mhm,
you've got to put the time in. You've got to learn the sales process.
yeah,
You've got to do the research. You might have to partner with other organizations just to get your feet wet. Not everything is, a business expense. So be careful about that. Know your numbers. What do you need to bring in? And, can you make a little bit of sacrifice on some things, on the big things? Because it is an investment with you, but it was well worth it because of what I've seen. But I've had to give up some other things,
yeah,
but I can now afford those other things because of that, that bet on me that,
yeah.
the trademark is going to matter. So
I love that. And I want to give you a special shout out for showing up. Like, I love how you like show up on social media, like show up on LinkedIn, like you show up, like you let people know you're here. I'm here to help you. Here's how I can help you. And you're consistent. And I think that that is important. It's a testament to why you continue to grow and have all of these opportunities that are like thrown into your lap because of that, because you continue to show up even when you don't feel like it. So I
thank
see,
you.
yeah,
I
I see,
appreciate that.
I
And
see
that's
you.
funny
Yeah.
because I'll get people who will sign up for my classes. And I'm like, oh, how did you know to come to me for PMP training? They're like, because you're always posting online. And they're like, I knew when it was time for me to get my PMP training or my agile certification training, I
Mhm.
knew I was going to come to you because you're showing that this is your expertise. You're not all
Yeah,
over the place. And I think that's the other thing
right.
too. And I learned this from Sony, so don't give me the credit, but one of a coach that I worked with, the riches are truly in the niches. And when you're
Mhm.
niched and people know you for what, if that's your expertise,
Yeah,
they will come to you.
yeah,
So I'm not for everybody. And, once people, if they have their PMP, they're like, I don't need that. But if they see other trainings that I provide, they're like, you're always posting and you're showing this is your area of expertise. This is your zone of genius. I want to come talk to you. And that matters. And even still, people might be, no, I don't want to work with you. That's fine, because we probably wouldn't work well together.
Exactly. So anything that you're currently working on that you would like to share with our viewers?
Yeah, some exciting news. I am developing an online PMP course for the University of Maryland. I'm super excited about that. And in addition to that, I will be creating my own PMP exam prep book. So it's a lot of development time that I'll be focused on in the fall. Or in the winter. So if I drop off the face of the earth, that's what I'll be doing. But stay tuned. I'll keep you apprised. Sign up on my newsletter to find out what's going on. But I'm really, really excited. And when I did the paperwork for Maryland, they were like, congratulations on your appointment. And I'm like, really? And you can call me professor now. So that was a dream long time. I mean, let me just let people know that was a 15-year process of the dream of wanting to be a professor at some university. And, to your point, I just kept showing up. And that's another thing I would tell people is just keep showing up. All the no's, it's just not right now. It is just keep going. Someone is going to see your perseverance, see your just desire to make this happen. And, again, that trademark, it's like, I'm not stopping, can't stop, won't stop. So I put the investment now. This is happening.
But you're going to have it for years and years to come. Like, that's the thing. Once it's protected, once it's done, you have it. Like, it's yours. So, as long as you file the renewal paperwork, every 10 years, that's a much quicker process. Like the long part, which was like the 14 plus month, that's behind you. So all you need to do are like quick little, renewals every 10 years, which is doable. It's not like an annual thing. So yeah.
Good.
I love it.
I'll be calling you up in 10 years.
So lastly, how can people find you, get connected with you, learn more?
So my number one playground is LinkedIn. You'll always find me there. You can find me. All my handles are at the MindsparQ, MindsparQ with a Q. And you can find me on Instagram. Definitely send me an email, crystal@themindspark.com for more information. I have an upcoming Agile certification course next week. If you're listening before next week, and just get on my newsletter to stay connected. I always try to be informative and not crowd your inbox, but I would love to hear from you.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to today's show. Hope to see you next week. If you are interested in learning more about trademarks, I invite you to join me at my upcoming Trademark Like a Boss live online workshop on November 17th at noon. Hope you'll register. And until next time, take care. Love you guys.